Aya. Wow. When I saw wow small now. Wow. I'm shaving. I'm shaving shave. Okay. Lagosians they here. Lagosians, those of them we come from Lagos. When I clap for myself. If not for Zuma, how I want to leave Lagos come Abuja? How I want to know Abuja? If not for Zuma. Eh? Hey, yeah. When I clap for Zuma, but Zuma don't try for now. When I clap, see, una no go understand. It's not easy to set up this kind of thing, to bring mumu like me. One day in the midst of people like this, my daddy know me now. Popsi build house for here, come go build one. No bread in the house, I was taking it. This knows. So now why Popsi big house. When my dad was handing over this business to me, Daddy, God bless you, sir. Please, when I'm leaving, the management of this place, Umbakubani Kiba, Umbakubani King Golden Number, you are going to see my return. I'm going to come back with a soldier. We will tell you into healers. Into what? Into what? Wow. You are making me to shy. Money. As I was see, rich people will not get problem. Oh. Truly, they not get problem. They not get problem. This same joke, I talk for Maraba. This same joke, you know it's they here. Oh boy, may that guy finish smoke or learn phone. Time no day. I just say they're not paying, but more just help and collect phone. So that the down will be added advantage. You know how I take come that day? I just want to say I want to do a very quick act as I follow backstage. Anytime they invite me, say they just call me, AK, we're having a show for you. Where? Massacre, me, Massacre, the senior brother of Maraba. Massacre on you, they make call. You see, they hear the person they talk to, but your phone don't go. Your hand see the ear. I'm close to the location. I'm close to the location. I go so rich. Make I just take bike. Okay, I go call you back. Massacre. In the same place, you dey on earpiece. They get electricians who they do all those things. You dey on earpiece, they play music. They don't already connect your wire to one DJ. Your phone don't go. You see they listen to the same music where they listen to, but your phone don't do anything. Your phone has what? Wow. Kopawi. Hi. When I say hi now, hi guys, good morning. Some of them back to currency. But that uku now only 3 people for that place they hear English. I wonder how that uniform take the on our body. Now just 3 Kopawi say hi. I just 3 hands I just see. That means the rest now waiting. Umbisu. My friend they go school. Me too, I just follow him. My friend they go serve. Me too, Umbisu, I just follow him. Thank you very much. My name is Peter Obi. One. Wow. Zuma 2022. Thank you very much for having me. God bless you.
Please let's jam our hands together again for him. That is a talent that is emerging. Very soon we will have our very, very special guest in the house, and then we will start. But at the moment, we would like to give you some fillers while we are waiting. I would like the media team to play the Abuja song for us. Let's see how it looks like, and appreciate the beauty of Abuja as a host city of Zuma Film Festival. After that, we'll watch a very short film that was produced by talents that are emerging, and after that we will have 1 or 2 people speak to us I want to believe that before we get through with that, our special guest would have arrived. Please enjoy yourself. Thank you.
Here in the valley, the future is mine. As the chorus kicks, my drummer habits, but in Gariki the sunshine.
It was in the mountains, has just come alive. Kuye utako, nyanyagwa river, the sun makes the evening sky.
All different cultures live here as one, calling here home, though sometimes alone, working till the evening comes.
Seeking your fortune in the city of God.
Oh, Angel, how are you? Work was good today, right?
Yeah, just do what we have to do.
Sure. See you tomorrow.
Yeah, see you tomorrow. And say hi to your wife.
Okay, see you here.
Bye.
you came up like this. Come on. You're so shameless. Get back here. I'm talking to you. Don't be a shameless woman. I'm talking to you. Don't be. Who does that? You're a very useless man. Very useless and shameless. See, you're too shameless and useless. You're a very useless person.
If I don't beat you in this house, you know rent. Come on, Rich, come on.
Which kind of man are you? How can you be beating your wife? How can you be beating? It's stupid man. Shameless fool like you. How did I end up with you? God, you're a very stupid man. Useless guy like you. You're a very stupid man. You're a fool. How did I end up with a fool like you? God, useless man. That's all you know. Bring that.
Thank you very much for the feelers. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are still getting set for the Nigerian Film Corporation annual film lecture that will be taking place shortly. I would like to use this opportunity to inform you that we have filmmakers in the audience, we have actors, directors, and producers in the world, and it's all about film. So at this point, to encourage our talents that are emerging, we would like to invite a veteran screen actor, Mr. Francis Zuma, to take a speech in his business. Mr. Zuma, please. Please join us together with Francis Zuma. If we were at the opening ceremony, we would have left behind Angela, as she was the previous star actor and manager. Mr. Zuma, please. Good morning. Hello. Hello. It's a learning process, and I believe in the emerging talent. I don't know whether you've been watching pictures or you've been listening or you've been reading things. You've been watching, you're too bad. You've been reading, too bad. But if you have been listening, too good, because that's what you need.
What was this, right?
Yeah, let's do what we have to do.
So, see you tomorrow.
Just see you tomorrow. And say hi to your wife.
Especially appreciate
See you here.
Bye.
one aspect of film corporation is the film institute. And so, if you are here from film institute, put your hands together for yourself. If you pass through film institute, put your hands together for yourself. In fact, if you are proud to have passed through film institute, stand up. Please put your hands together for them. I graduated from the best university in the world, University of Port Harcourt. Well, great to report. You need to report. You need to report. Don't be jealous because I'm the one with the microphone. So if the team pay me, you can't collect microphone from me. I have my professor also in the house, and it's all about process. Because when we say emerging talent, one thing we've seen of this generation is the fact that you want to plant corn, harvest it in the afternoon and cook it in the night. Everybody just wants to be there at the top. But the truth is, when my process started in 1988, truth be told, we never knew where we were headed for. But one thing was apparent.
Discipline, the search for mentors and platform. And for me, the best things that happened was to have two great platforms. Sete Productions of the great Paul Warwicker and Wheezy Traveling Theatre. If you know of Willie, raise your hand up. Willie, those were the places where we were formed. And something you must understand is that you must not abort process. You must not destroy process. Because process is what sustains you. Virtual space, Instagram, you mentioned them, they have become so easy that everybody today is a filmmaker. Everybody can shoot video. But you will agree with me that everything in life follows principles, dynamics. And if you go against the principles, sustainability is lost. It's a pep talk. I didn't prepare for this. But you see, the basic things in life is not you becoming popular. And I always tell people there's a difference between popularity and fame. Notoriety can breed popularity. But when we talk about fame, it's your ability to go through process and become, and people begin to look at you from the process you've gone through. And so for emerging talent, I have just little time here. First things you need to do is to search deeply inside and ask yourself that question. Am I truly deserving of this opportunity? Do I have what it takes to actually play this game? Which means definition is key. What is this business? Cinematography, acting, directing, producing. What is it all about? What are the dynamics? What are the principles? What are the things that sustain it? The how of it is very, very important. Don't just say, I want to be an actor because I want to be like Genevieve. I want to be like Omotola. I want to be like XYZ. But listen to me. If you go deep into their process, you will understand that they never just became. They grew with time through process and became. And the thing about growth is that it is very painful. The thing about growth is that it will take you through corners you never wanted. The thing about growth is that it will push up things that will destroy your ego, your dignity, your prestige. But when you find yourself out there at the top, you forget those things. They become references for greatness. And so don't be here. I heard a young man who talked about, okay, he writes and all that stuff. It goes beyond talent. It goes beyond talent. It speaks to your ability to find who is in charge of what that you need to get to where you want to be. Today, it has become obvious. We have academies here, we have acting schools, they are fine. But sometimes, not sometimes, every time, humility pays. You can't hear me? If you didn't hear me, raise your hand up. When I plenty, you sure I won't collect gate fee. So the truth about it is that you stoop to conquer. Humility is key. I have been on sets where people who just popped out through Instagram became superstars. They come on set and they are behaving. You ask, where is this one from? And if you don't hold yourself, you begin to doubt your competence. It does not take you anywhere. It's a flash. If you grow up, you stay up. You jump up, you come down. So my appeal for emerging talents is for you to learn to grow. Emerging means you are not there yet. You are going somewhere, which means you take it step by step. And each step you miss affects you tomorrow. We also need to talk about discipline. For us in the business of acting or directing or you name it, it's next to the military. If you can't dump your ego somewhere and stick to what the director is telling you, then you're not ready. Principles, discipline, understanding the power of knowledge. Definition is key. If you say you are a screen actor today and a 5-year-old were to ask you, this acting self, what is it all about? Directing self, what is it all about? And you cannot in 1 minute tell that 5-year-old, then you are indeed in the wrong profession. Because today we have been given the greatest gift to change the world. But if we're not deliberate to the point that we can actually articulately define our thought processes as they get into the things we are doing, then we are missing the point. It means we are progressing in error. And when you progress in the error, it means you cannot document your process in that success you are already achieving. And so for emerging talents, this is the time for you to start well. Ask questions. Probe into your creative content, your ability. Ask questions deeply. Why am I doing what I am doing? Identify with great platforms. Today we have platforms. NFI is a platform. There are universities. Even your church drama is a platform for growth. Even as an NYC student, the NYC drama is a platform for growth. So your ability to get to all these dynamics bit by bit is fine. It is not 100 meters dash. It is a journey. And in every journey, you expect so many hurdles, bumps, and sometimes, bus stops. The day you mistake your bus stop for your destination, you have lost it. Hello? Am I making any sense? But that's how they talk to myself. If I'm making sense, clap for yourself for listening. I tell you the truth, the times now are better. I can't remember how many times police arrested us for wandering because we're moving from one place to the other looking for the next job. But today, with your phone, you can get to anywhere you want to be in the world and do whatever you want to do. So for emerging talents, the time is yours. But understand the dynamics. Define what you are getting into. Look for strong mentors. Understand too well that there are so many teachers outside, so many academics. All that glitters is not gold. But your power of discernment based on the hunger you have with you will make you understand where the right place is or the wrong place. This is one such place. There are directors, there are producers, there are filmmakers all the way. It is not just taking selfie. We've had so many selfies in this world today. If I ask the emerging talent, how much information did you get in trying to ask the actor you took selfies with, what was your process like? How did you start? So don't just admire results. Dig deep to understand how those results came to be. It is a school, it is a book you are reading. Because it is only when you begin to understand the dynamics of somebody's process that you learn. And in this business, you don't stop learning. In this business, everything counts. In this business, every young actor and old actor is an acting book that has not been written. And so you meet the book before it is written. And for you to read the book, you ask just that little question, how did you start? What were your problems? Not just take selfie. You take selfie and you smile, you go, you meet the actor, waiting talk, I take selfie. That's where it ends. Optimize the opportunity. I did not say maximize. Optimize the opportunity you have. For every director, for every producer, for every cinematographer you have here, is a book you need to read that may not be written in life. And when you miss the opportunity, you will never get it again. Some of you are doing your job, are doing your work instead of your job. And so in the course of defining what you're getting into, you find out that you are doing your work instead of doing your job. And you say, what's the difference? Your work, what you do and you get paid for. Your job, what you were born to do. And if you are in this business, your passion drives you, the hunger in it makes you situate your job. And once you situate your job, you find out that to do all of these things come with ease. Your ability to hunt information, knowledge, seek people who understand the dynamics of the business is what determines how far you go. So please, sustainability is in a process. I beg you, grow up, don't jump up. God bless you.
Going sky high. He'll need this and Namecheap because he wants a domain that'll really take off. The
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, finally, we'll soon get onto the program for today. On behalf of the Nigerian Film Corporation and FCT, I would like to welcome you to the Nigerian Film Corporation Annual Film Lecture 2022 to be delivered by the Honorable Minister FCT, Honorable Minister of State FCT, Dr. Ramatu Tijani Aliyu. She will soon join us, but before she comes in, I would like to quickly invite the discussants for today's paper to the high table, and thereafter, before we end the invitation to the high table, she will be in. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in no particular order, please, you have to permit me to invite to the high table. I'd like to have an usher with me here, quickly, please. Mr. Fidelis Duka, please. Please, can we have Mr. Fidelis Duka as a discussant, please? Quickly. Please, let's put our hands together for the Honorable Minister of State, FCTA, Dr. Ramatu Tijani Aliyu. I'd like to also invite to the podium Mr. Madu Chikwendu, a filmmaker who also double as a moderator. Mr. Madu Chikwendu, please. No, the last one, sir. The last seat. Thank you very much. I would like to also invite to the podium Dr. Victor Okai. He is the President, Directors Guild of Nigeria, Mr. Victor Okai. Yeah, next to him. Thank you. I would like to also invite Mr. Francis Duro. Mr. Francis Duro. Mr. Francis Duro. Mr. Francis Duro. Thank you very much. Please permit me to also invite to the podium the Permanent Secretary, FCTA, represented by Mr. Sam Atang. He's the Director of Operations and Strategy Office of the Permanent Secretary, please. Mr. Atang. Mr. Atang. Please show me. Would like to also invite the representative of the Director General, Nigerian Television Authority, if he's in the house, Alhaji Ahmed Lawa, please, if you're around. Okay. Would like to now invite Professor Omotola Daniel to please join us on the high table. That way. Yeah. There. Yes, that very seat. Thank you. Yeah.
Please permit me to use this opportunity to invite our distinguished filmmaker and guest of Zuma Film Festival all the way from Burkina Faso, Madam Apolline Traore, please. At this point, I would like to invite Please, at this point, I'd like to also invite to the podium the Managing Director, Chief Executive, Nigerian Film Corporation, Dr. Chidi Amadwekwe. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there is a chairman for this occasion, and he is no other person than Dr. Garba Abari. He is the Director General, National Orientation Agency. Sir. Thank you, sir. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would like at this point to invite Mrs. Atika to please make one or two remarks, and thereafter invite the Honorable Minister of State to the podium.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the Zuma Film Festival. On behalf of Her Excellency, the Honorable Minister of State for the Federal Capital Territory, Dr. Ramatu Tijani Aliu, PhD, a woman who has been supporting the film industry, a woman who just came into office in 2019, and one of the first meetings she had was to invite the members of the film festival, of the Abuja Film Festival, as well as the National Film Festival. She has also been supporting the National Peace Foundation, those ones who have decided to bring actors and actresses across the federation together to foster peace, to preach peace across the nation. She's been a patron and a matron of various organizations that has to do with filming as well as entertainment in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, I have the singular honor to invite her to join the panelists. She is no other than the Onyeze of Ebira land, Her Excellency, the very beautiful and delectable security expert, Dr. Ramatu Tijani Aliu. Your Excellency, that's a step of the Saronia, Abuja. That's a woman who is walking like she is the daughter of the soil. Thank you.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we'll all rise for the national anthem. Thank you very much. Ma, you might take your seat. The Honorable Minister of State, FCT, Dr. Ramatu Tijani Aliyu, the Chairman of the Vocation, Dr. Garba Abari, the Director General, National Orientation Agency, the Managing Director, Chief Executive, Nigerian Film Corporation, Dr. Chidi Amadwekwe, and representative of the Permanent Secretary, FCT, Mr. Samuel Atang, other discussants here present, senior and principal officers of the FCTA and Nigerian Film Corporation, film stakeholders, film enthusiasts, students, foreign guests who are here present, those who are watching us through our live stream. I'd like to welcome you to the Nigerian Film Annual Lecture 2022. The Nigerian Film Corporation Annual Film Lecture is instituted to form the bedrock and give us opportunity to develop policy that will contribute to the development of the Nigerian film industry. And a quick reminder, in 2018, outcome of the Nigerian Film Annual Lecture was the processes leading to the institutionalization of a national policy on national archive. And in 2019, outcome of the annual film lecture was the national data policy on content development and distribution. Today, we shall be having our dear Honorable Minister of State speak to us on the theme Post-COVID-19 Funding Policy Framework Partnerships between the FCTA and the Nigerian Film Corporation for the Nigerian film industry through rebates, location incentives, tax credits, and film grants. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to invite the Managing Director, Chief Executive, Nigerian Film Corporation, Dr. Chidi Amadwekwe, to give us his opening remarks, sir.
Yeah, Your Excellency, the Honorable Minister of State, FCT, and the guest speaker of the Nigerian Film Corporation Annual Film Lecture, Dr. Ramatu Tijani Aliyu, Chairman of the Annual Lecture, Dr. Garba Abari, distinguished personalities, scholars, heads of ministerial agencies, and content developers, distributors, investment experts, film marketers, exhibitors who are present, our emerging talents, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It's with great pleasure that I welcome you all to this year's edition of the Nigerian Film Corporation Annual Lecture Series. It remains one of the corporation's platform that is being used to contribute to the development of policy framework and documents for critical areas of the nation's creative economy. Such policy documents and framework are by no means mere directional intent. Rather, they are key navigational and instructional compass which provides clear and distinctive objectives as well as the means to achieving them. On the strength of the above, there is no doubt that this year's NFC Annual Film Lecture will depart from its intents and purposes. Distinguished guests, the topic of this year's Annual Film Lecture is not only apt for a nation with the highest volume of film production and creative mind. with high traffic of internet connectivity in terms of persons in Africa, and the beautiful filmic scenes across Abuja, it only behoves that there should exist some form of policy framework that will not only provide the needed opportunities, but which can exacerbate the needed impetus to grow the Nigerian creative economy. The creative sector, especially film and television, is presently not only being driven by high technology. The beautiful location across the country equally add up to the investment windows that support film production activities. Abuja, in the present circumstance, provides a destination point for investment, job, and wealth creation through the placement of a film location policy within the Federal Capital Territory. The Nigerian Film Corporation recognizes that one of the key challenges within the film production chain is adequate and appropriate return on investment for film and other creative works. We are aware that securing location for film shoot that would depict Nigeria in its beautiful state don't always abound. Where they do, filmmakers find it difficult to assess them. However, we believe that with the existence of a film policy framework, accessibility to film locations will be achieved with ease. And today's lecture will specifically address this issue. I want to assure you that the NFC shall continue to use the annual film lecture series to provide the fulcrum for the evolution of policy documents that will impact positively on any critical sector in the creative economy. Let therefore, and once more, say that just as the past editions of the annual lecture, we shall and remain determined to use this year's edition of the film lecture to present a document that will form the nexus for the development of another policy framework for the creative sector of the Nigerian economy. The topic, post-COVID-19 funding policy framework partnership between the Federal Capital Territory and the NFC for the Nigerian film industry through rebates, location incentive, tax credit, and film grant, to be delivered by Her Excellency Hajia Ramatu Tijani Aliyu, Honorable Minister of State, Federal Capital Territory, seeks to address the challenges, impediments, vast opportunities, and connection between content creators, content distributors, and content consumers. Also, taking consideration of location providers and development focus for the Nigerian creative economy. Whereas there are progressive successes being recorded in the production of films, the major challenge within the film production chain remains that of location to match intent of the film script and its development. For Nigeria, several efforts and attempts have and are still being explored to in place a framework that will effectively offer film stakeholders and investors safety nets and windows through location incentives and rebate. We are yet to get there. This explains why NFC, through its film lecture series, seek to now drive the process that will lead to the evolution of a national film location and other incentive policies for Nigeria. There could have been no other agency or government to partner on this journey to our economic development and prosperity than the Federal Capital Territory. I therefore, on behalf of management of Nigerian Film Corporation, convey my deep and sincere appreciation to the Honorable Minister of Federal Capital Territory for accepting to deliver this lecture while partnering with Nigerian Film Corporation. I have no doubt that from the lecture presentation and anticipated robust intervention by our panel of discussants, including all of us, As participants, we shall have a successful session of the NFC Annual Film Lecture Series. I want to assure you that the NFC shall speedily process the outcome of this year's annual film lecture through further engagement with industry key operators and relevant stakeholders, so that in the next few months, the production of a draft document on national policy on film location and rebate incentive with the FCT as a springboard will be achieved. Thank you.
Please, let's appreciate the Managing Director, Chief Executive, Nigerian Film Corporation, Dr. Chidia Maduekwe. The Honorable Minister, ma'am, all protocols observed, would like to also inform you that we had guests from outside of the country who are joining us in celebration of cinematic excellence of our great nation. Please permit me to introduce Mr. Torrance Kumalu from the National Film and Video Foundation, South Africa. Thank you for coming. And a filmmaker from the Republic of Kenya, Madam Angela Chiroma. Thank you very much for coming. We have a chairman for this occasion, and he is no other person than Dr. Garba Abari, the Director General, National Orientation Agency. Please permit me to now invite him to deliver his remarks, sir.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of State FCT, Dr. Ramatu Tijani Aliu, the Managing Director of the Nigerian Film Corporation, Dr. Chidia Madueke, discussants this paper, our international participants from South Africa, from Kenya, from Burkina, gentlemen of the media, all invited ladies and gentlemen here present, a very good morning. My name is Garba Abari. I am the chair of this event. The time has gone far already. It's a Friday. I do not intend to chair the event beyond an hour, maximum 1 hour, 15 minutes, so that we allow some of our participants here to attend to some personal issues. But before then, a little housekeeping issues. Immediately after the paper presentation by the Honorable Minister of State, we will take the inputs of the discussants, about 7 of them in all. I'm going to allocate 3 minutes each for them to make their interventions, after which we have a round-up and to close the session therefrom. It's not a time for long speeches. It's my honor and a privilege to chair this event, to welcome you, and at the same time my honor and privilege to welcome the Honorable Minister of State, Dr. Ramatu Tijani Aliu, to please come over and present her address. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. The chairman of the occasion, Dr. Tanko Abari, my own brother, in whom I am very proud. Dublin also here with us. Not only a big brother, but a major player in Nigerians' orientation and reorientation, and by extension, a major role player in the Nigerian film industry, without a script. The chairman, Zuma Film Festival, an MD, Film Corporation, Dr. Chidia Maduikwe, here present, the permanent secretary, FCT, here ably represented by Director, Office of the Permanent Secretary, none other than Mr. U.S. Atang, Director General, National Orientation Agency. Why do we have him twice here? Well, here we go. Mr. Francis Duru, film actor and producer. And before I proceed, also permit me to express my condolence to you, because I just heard of your bereavement. We appreciate you most sincerely, and we share with you your pains. Mrs. Apolline Tarore from Burkina Faso, we appreciate your presence here and welcome to Nigeria. Mr. Victor Okai, President Director, Guild of Nigeria, Nigerian actors, I know. Prof. Omotola Daniel, pardon? Obashola. Oh, Omotola Obashola. Omashola. Where did you get the Daniel from? Anyway, that is, by the way, protocol department. Is a film tutor. Mr. Fidelis Doka, a filmmaker. All other invited guests here present. They are amiable students of the film industry. Not forgetting able member of Team Ramatu, who ensure that they work the nook and cranny of the Federal Capital Territory to ensure that we cross the T's and dot the I's and taking good governance to people. Not forgetting the gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. It is with, come. This font is not mine. Okay. It is with a sense of humility and responsibility that I stand before you, this very distinguished audience, to speak on the topic, Post-COVID-19 Funding Policy Framework, Partnerships between the Federal Capital Territory Administration and the Nigerian Film Corporation for the Nigerian film industry through rebates, location incentives, tax credits, and film grants. At this point, I want to take a moment to put on record my profound appreciation for the honor of the keynote speaker for this August gathering. Without a doubt, the COVID-19 pandemic has taken a toll on countries, global economies, industries, families, and individuals all over the world, and has left us with new normals of sanitizing our hands, door handles, tabletops, and other infectable surfaces. It has also given us new behavioral patterns, such as wearing nose masks of different sizes, patterns, and colors, and being careful about randomly touching our eyes, picking our noses and mouths. While thanking the Almighty for sparing our lives, life must go on. And that is what has necessitated the topic for yet another edition of the Zuma Film Festival, ZOF, and the lecture today. However, for us to do good justice to this subject under discuss, we all must be on the same page as per some of the conceptual terms which could be discussed better, of course, in the course of the lecture. These concepts include, but are not exclusive to, funding sources, partnerships, incentives, credit grants, and rebates. An overview of the funding challenges of the success story called Nollywood gladdens the heart when we read or firstly hear that the Nigerian film industry has attracted global attention and is rated third only to America's Hollywood and India's Bollywood, making it an investor's delight. Oh, better still. Secondly, that in 2016, the Nigerian film industry has recognized as the largest film producer in the world, with an estimated contribution of 239 billion naira, or 2.3% of gross domestic product, Nigerians' own GDP. I think you deserve a better applause. As a result of these successes in local and international markets, in 2015, the global streaming giant Netflix also announced its willingness to make available to the tune of 8 billion US dollars in the Nigerian space. Do you know what that means? The willingness to make available about 8 billion American dollars in the movie industry. That is also commendable. Sadly, this hasn't been the case. And that brings us to the concept of funding source or sources, or simply put, where the monies invested in Nigerian film industries come from, are coming from, or will come from. To get a proper historic undertone of the production funding in Nigeria, we will consider the position of Olabi Adesanya, a one-time Director General of Nigerian Film Industry or Film Corporation, as this will set the tone on the funding metamorphosis which the Nigerian film industry has come to bear, with after more than 3 decades of production, outings, and cooperation organizations. Adesanya submits that money or funding and its purchase power is our essential commodity for filmmaking. Take it or leave it. Without adequate funding, or let me be modest to say, with adequate funding, the Nigerian film industry and the quality of films produced will be better and much, much better. In his bid to explain the enigma called funding, Adesanya enthused that if the local producers are committed to the cause of a market-driven film ethos, there was so much to be achieved. He vividly recalled the epic sojourn of Nigerian film industry, where it went to the stock exchange market and knows Francis Oladele, popularly known for Kongi, Bullfrog, and other movies, was able to successfully raise 3 million naira to produce Ojuaye, Eye of the World, from IBM Securities, a subsidiary of IBM. He further explains that further major considerations were at play then. First, for the fact that 1986 was the peak of indigenous cinema in local film history. So much momentum had built up to this daring move to suspend or funding openly. Secondly, it clearly demonstrates the confidence and trust of Nigerian audience, which had so much faith in local content produced then, that they subscribed to funding of Ojuaye. That will also take us to another discussion, or we hope it to be raised by the discussant. What went wrong? Or what do we need to do better to earn more or secure more confidence of the Nigerian populace in our movie industry? Perhaps we will also have to look at the titles, the substance, because the qualities have been so high, and we want the direction also to be tailored to us what might be endearing to Nigerian populace. Thirdly, the concept of crowdfunding was seriously at play here and showed to the world that Nigerians were patriotic in their demand for homemade entertainment. Fourthly, the confidence reposed in Calpenny film brand by the financial sector also showed that so much collaboration was actually possible between indigenous companies, in this case, the filmmakers and financial proprietors. Before the novelty of the romance between the film industry and the financial proprietors, Lancelot Odua Imeswe, a major Nigerian movie producer, Afolabi Adesanya, and others had identified the following funding sources for our film industries. That will also give us some topics, clear points of discuss. Perhaps we have addendums, what we'll be looking at in details, and what government can also do clearly to support and enable you to do much more in Nigerian film industry. Funders funding. This is a situation where the story writer, the script writer, and producer are often one and the same person. Mostly was what majorly we used to see in the early days. Who used his or her personal funds saved over the years or gathered by careful liquidation of assets to produce movies with the hope that revenue will be generated, his desires will be achieved, particularly by attaining or making history when the movie makes the scene or when the movie becomes the hit. B, man no man. As stated in local parlance here, simply means harnessing or leveraging on persons' connections. You have to raise very necessary funds to produce movies. This is done either by getting these connections to catch your vision, and key into the financially, or by getting these connections to loan you money if they will not key into it financially. Well, sometimes that also redefines the decision, the concept, the passion of the movie maker to be tailored by who finances the movie. Sometimes also contributes in no measurable way to say the tone becomes changed. Might not be the dream or the desire of the producer, but we would have found it better if he had another option. Angel funding. Angel investors are individuals who have available funds and are ready to invest in an entrepreneur's ideas. This leaves you holistically with your ideas and your dreams. They are professional investors who specialize in investing, according to Samuel Ora A. in 2021. Angel funding is the most important source of funding for startups because they generate useful resources to startups. Freya et al. Opine that angel funding falls between informal funding, such as funders' funds, family and friends, locally known as man no man, and venture capital, which boosted the production of Ojuaye and others, for instance. D, the crowdfunding. As the name suggests, crowdfunding is the funding by crowd. Crowdfunding, according to Michael Hams, can be used for a variety of purposes, e.g., group, fundraising, group, purchase, cooperative political campaigns, disaster relief, starting up a business and support, or sustaining creative industry. Hans posits that crowdfunding has proven successful because it uses the proven mechanism of crowdsourcing. All of the above attempts at seeing the utilization, the much required funding for the Nigerian film industry has actually brought us out of the proverbial doldrums and have set us out and our film industries on an enviable pedestal as number 3 worldwide after Hollywood and Bollywood. However, despite the level of growth experienced and enjoyed by these industries, we cannot shout "Uhuru" yet because it is still beset by serious lack of funding, privacy, copyright infringements, and other issues. These issues are the unstructured nature of funding for the film industries, which have been brought to the fore by professionals like Lancelot Imenshaw and others. In a bid to turn the tide, the Goodluck Jonathan administration in 2012 at the 30th anniversary celebration of the Silverbird Group announced almost 200 million American dollars to support the industry. These funds were to be distributed to industry players in form of loans and was to be administered by the Nigerian Import and Export Bank, NEXIM, and the Bank of Industry, BOI. Again in 2021, same was made. Promises from the government. And hopefully, if wishes were horses, and these monies were made available to the film industry, particularly our very active generational film producers, the case would have been the same. A much more than positive turn of events, and since the government isn't the only corporate entity, and since the government, the banks, several years later, pitched their hearts into the fray. Access Bank PLC and the Bank of Industry came up with the Noli Access. This is a loan, and the Bank of Industry Noli Fund respectively, in separate yet similar statements were announcing and establishing these facilities. Both banks summarized their reasons as follows. Nollywood, which has come to stay, is a very important emerging sector in Nigeria's economy and must be supported. Nollywood in 2013 contributed 1.42%, that is averagely 7.3 billion American dollar, or 1.4 trillion naira. And in 2016 contributed 2.3%, that is about 239 billion Nigerian naira, rebased of our GDP. Nollywood has contributed immensely in enhancing the image of Nigeria, as our movies are being watched globally. This is also commendable. Have you ever experienced a situation where off the shores of Nigeria and people come up excitedly, like I witnessed some times ago in Cape Town? Someone said, "Do you know Mr. Ibu? He came happily and giggily because he met a Nigerian." Someone also came and said, "Ma, are you from Nigeria?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Is it true some loco died?" To mention but a few, but this tells us the impact of Nigerian film industry on the entire African continent. Take it or leave it. We might not know this, but it has contributed immensely in the imaging and better imaging of Nigeria and Nigerians. How well these facilities have been accessed and utilized is a story for another day. Though quite available in the public space, interestingly enough, with this current administration, led by President Muhammadu Buhari, taking positive steps to contribute to the growth and substance of the sector, we can say there is light at the end of the tunnel, because there are so many other facilities that are in the pipeline and will be made available. Thus, the essence of this discussed today, because FCT is also taking not only a center stage, but I think is beginning to lead. Certainly we will. I think FCT deserves this applause from you. The growth and the sustenance of this sector, we can say there is light again, I reiterate, at the end of the tunnel. These steps are being achieved in collaboration with the African Development Bank, AFDB, through which 500 million American dollars facility will also be made available to the Nigerian film industry. This laudable initiative was scheduled to see the injection of this facility into the sector by the end of 2021 through the Nigerian Innovation Program, NIP, which proposes to boost innovation, job creation, and foster growth in the technology and creative entrepreneurship ecosystem. It was expected, and I am glad to say that this facility is bringing about further growth and sustenance to the already booming Nigerian film industry. Congratulations to you all, and to those of us who are lovers of the film and creative industry. Way forward, this we must talk about, even though I'm aware that the day is fast spent. But what is worth doing at all is worth doing well. The way forward is I must say clearly, is not rocket science, but lies in the tested and trusted cliche that what is good for the goose is good for the gander. With the return to democracy in 1999, several waivers, grants, tax holidays, rebates, and incentives were given to the likes of Dangote Group and a lot of other super industrialists who embraced all this and have been waxing very strong from available statistics, and I know it's for all of you to assess. You could go down your Google lane. It therefore becomes very logical for us to try these and same other measures which have worked in the agricultural sector, manufacturing sectors, and other sectors to see that it will also succeed in the movie and the creative industry. I am positive it will. Do you believe it will work in the music industry, in the movie industry, in the creative industry? And I know it will work better. And I believe this more than the actors and the producers do. What the government must do clearly is what FCT administration is also taking the lead to do, is to ensure that these facilities are easily accessed by sensitization, by getting you all to know how to access them and opening up the doors to unlock these potentials. A major way in which the government can make this industry very attractive to investors and major players alike is by the provision of various incentives clearly. These incentives have formed the issues clearly enunciated in this year's lecture topic, and they include the following, but not limited to: pioneer status incentives, that is the PSI. This is a tax holiday incentive provided for under the Industrial Development Tax Relief Act. It grants qualifying industries and their products relief from payment of corporate income tax for an initial period of 3 years, which is also renewable for another period of 1 year or 2. Elaborating on this, I will let you know that it enables the pioneer industries or personnel to stabilize. It allows you a period, both of the falls, wins, and gains, to re-establish yourself, to connect to your clientele and patronage, to become the strength and a pillar almost for yourself to stand alone. And it gives you an extension or an extra period of 1 to 2 years if required to do so. In Section 1 of the Act, there is the provision that says that any industry may be designated as a pioneer where the president is satisfied that it is not being carried on in Nigeria on a scale that is suitable to the economic requirements of Nigeria or at all, or there are favorable prospects of further developments in Nigeria, or it is expedient and in public interest to encourage the development or establishment of such industry in Nigeria by declaring the industry to be a pioneer industry and any product of the industry to be a pioneer product. The PSI covers the following areas. This is particularly the area of my interest because this is the area that actually touches the very fabric of the existence of particularly our movie industries, if they must flourish and go beyond where we are today. Production of digital movies, animation, videos, television programs, commercials, including online distribution and exhibition. Music production, publishing and online digital music distribution. Production of cameras, motion pictures, and slide projectors, overhead transparency projectors. Photography for tourism purposes and aerial photography. All these and much more are included. And we'll also urge you to do a little bit more research and down into the Google. Or this lecture definitely will make available in the FCT archives for you to access so that you can hold the government account on what is required, what you desire to be done to you, to be a better producer, a better filmmaker, and a better person by extension with stronger economic power. These are more the FCT administration is willing to do for you. The creation of a film industry development fund to be listed in the 5th schedule of the Company Income Tax Act, Chapter C21, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, LFN, as amended. These are all your rights. These are places you refer to ensure that you are secured. Though this has been there since 2004, it is unfortunate that the lip service has been paid to it over the years. FCT administration, by this bold move, is ready to do due diligence and act accordingly to ensure that we boost not only the film industry, but the creative industry in its entirety. FCT, I think, deserves applause from all of you. Income tax exception. This is succinctly captured in the decree number 32 of the 1996 and provides the 100% of the foreign income earned abroad by the playwrights, artists, musicians, and sportsmen and women, etc., be exempted, underline, be exempted from tax, provided that the income in the repatriated into Nigeria in foreign currencies through a domiciliary account with a Nigerian bank. This clearly gives you protection, especially when you perform abroad or secure a grant, provided the means of the income or the source of the income is a clear one. If channeled through appropriately a domiciliary account through the government banks or any of the banks where licensed, is exempted from tax. This also enables stability and earn and use your money as earned. This also is commendable because the government of today is ready to bring it to bear. Our sportsmen and women, particularly our footballers, authors, and playwrights, have been enjoying and benefiting from this over the years. So why not the Nollywood? If we must hold our government to account, then we must make sure we make more researches. We quest into existing laws to open or unlock potentials, to see what benefits the industry and all of us, because this is for you to behold. FCT administration is urging you to look clearly into some of these laws, leverage upon their existence to make our Nigerian movie industry or the Nollywood a stronger one. Location incentives. This provides for a tax reduction of about 30% for the enterprises located in areas that are 20 kilometers away from electricity, potable water, tarred roads. That means for movies that are produced in areas that are none but poshy, without water, without light, incentives are given. And you know what? It further exposes our culture traditionally, how we lived and coexisted in the then days. But besides that, also exposes the dearth of infrastructure in our localities that will draw the government's attention to those areas to further develop them, make provision for basic social amenities and infrastructures, and unlock the potential. Number 5, waiver on the importation of foreign materials required for out profit for research and development. Low company tax of 20% for small companies in the sector as per 1996 fiscal policy analysis. This is clearly also available for you to enhance and boost your potentials. Low tax treaty concession rate of 7.5% for foreign investors. This could just see Hollywood producers making Nigerian content movies. Bursts in the industry's parlance. Number 10, allowable deduction of the cost of film production. 11, audiovisual film materials imported into Nigeria to be exempt from tax or VAT. This is also essential, for it will reduce the cost of production where necessary. Insertion of film practitioners in the list of economic actors mentioned in the Personal Income Tax Act, the PITA 2004. Third schedule, item 30, preference loan facilities to be made available to investors to aid development in the film industry. Come on, what are we waiting for? In the real sense, the film industry needs a better understanding of the tax laws and how they apply to the industry. And this administration is leaving no stones unturned to ensure that the tax environment is investment friendly. Globally, an investor-friendly tax environment will certainly attract foreign investment because the tax incentives available within a nation's tax environment constitute veritable opportunities for local and foreign investors to build on. I wish to put on record that in Nigerian business environment today, the tax environment has impact on employment, output, income, and economic growth rate, making it imperative that regulators and stakeholders not only play their critical roles, but play it very well and in the most friendliest manner. The Federal Capital Territory Administration and the Nigerian Film Corporation post-COVID-19 funding policy framework. And this is the main deal, the raw deal. It is no longer news that the Federal Capital Territory Administration and the Nigerian Film Corporation had in November 2021 entered into a 2.5 billion naira memorandum of understanding for the hosting of the edition of the Zuma Film Festival, ZOF. This MOU, I must say, could serve as the pillar upon which the funding policy framework partnership between the two organizations will stand and turn the FCT into another film and filming destinations. Will you ask me why? If you will not ask, then you must clap for this before you hear it. A very loud one, because I will not tell you. Okay, then I will tell you. You are willing to know. This is because the Federal Capital Territory Administration is poised to provide all necessary incentives that will attract the film industry into our nation's beautiful capital city. For instance, the Pioneer Status Initiative Incentive, PSI, can be effected in the FCT. This is because most of the times, Abuja has featured in our movies, albeit very brief scenes, the one we will refer to here as Wakapa scenes. No be so now they call them. Which only shows a drive-by on the streets or government establishments like federal secretariats, the 3 zone, the CBN, the NMPC towers, or some satellite town. Filmmakers should be encouraged to produce movies or seasonal movies like Mukabala, an Abuja-based seasonal movie currently showing on the DSTV. How many of you have watched it? Oh, that is good. I see that. That means you are up to date. Which is shot in the city center. And how do you find it? That showcases the masterpiece and the beautiful piece Africa's most populous nation's capital is made of. The location incentives, which provides a 30% tax reduction for enterprises like movies located in areas that are 20 kilometers away from electricity, potable water, and third roads, will probably see a movie centered around the Zuma Rock, the Takushara iron smelting area, the old Kwali, and the Karshi settlements, the Lion Face Mountains in Pape, to mention but a few of our hidden movie genic locations, as I would like to call them. Movies shot in these locations will certainly benefit by leveraging on the location incentives. FCT will make this clearly available without delay. I didn't hear the thank you. Or do you want a withdrawal of this from the FCT? This will be a beautiful introduction that will depart from the usual thing we used to have, that will further endear our movie industry to the world, because what is constant is change. So if we introduce the new areas, the new locations, and perhaps the new scenes in the right direction, the Nigerian Nollywood will be another hit. While thanking you very much for listening, I want to conclude by reiterating the fact that the contribution of the entertainment industry, particularly the film sector, to Nigerian socio-economic growth cannot be overemphasized and certainly should not be underestimated. The industry has been responsible for the creation of over 1 million jobs, and it is still creating more jobs for Nigerians, although the sector barely enjoys the support from investors and from government. If the entertainment industry is able to get the support it requires, then we can be certain that the quality of the movies produced and realized, or that will be released annually, will improve. Fortunately, this support is not limited to the provision of grants and loans, but other means like the provision of various incentives, which we had mentioned above, and FCT administration is ready to make available as well to the movie industry. Based on the foregoing, the signing of the MOU is quite a significant step in the right direction. The next 2 steps will necessarily be the proper understanding and the right application of these already identified incentives and documentation. The Nigerian Film Corporation and the entire Nollywood industry should make haste and take advantage of the readiness of the Federal Capital Territory Administration to partner with the major stakeholders and players to ensure that the FCT becomes the next filming location and a worthy rival to Lagos, Enugu, and Delta states, especially Port Harcourt. I would also like to clearly say, not only that the Honorable Minister of State is the fan or a big fan of the Nollywood, the Kannywood, and the Nigerian movie industry, but I am a big fan of the development of the youth, participants of the creative area and arena, those who showcase our culture, those who are ready to resuscitate our family value system. Have we listened of recent? Have we seen of late? How eroded, how intrusions into the very existing culture and our value system have impacted, will I like to call it negatively, on our daughters, our youths, and our students via, is it the social media? What can our movie industry do to ensure that in as much as the social media is the end thing, in as much as internet is made available, let the Nollywood take center stage and the lead in encouraging our youths in the acts of the revival of our cultural values. We know them all, and those were those values that endeared Nigeria to the world. Go back to the days of Festa, 77. Think about it and know how and what the boost we made. How rich the Nigerian culture used to be it Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, Evibio, Efik, Ibira, Nupi. What is happening to it? Are we encouraging the intrusion of our value systems? We will discuss this much later on another fora. But on this note, I also want to kindly use this opportunity to appeal to our gurus here and my own brother, the Director, National Orientation Agency, DG. All veterans all out here to say we need to do much more. We need to rise up to this occasion. We as individuals and government representatives are also resolved to support you at whatever level the support is required, through the institutional framework or through personal contributions. But this we must take responsibility for. Nation building is a collective responsibility. How do we feel? If, a simple example, am I allowed to give you an example? Well, if as a leader, I will not feel too happy to be corrected, that means I am not even good or fit to be that leader. Because as a leader, I must open my doors to correction. That will, by extension, show my daughters, my children, my brother, and the entire populace that are my supporters to open their doors to be corrected. Correction is one constant thing that will make perfection. Thank you all very much once again for listening. I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you very much, the Honorable Minister of State, for a very thoughtful, insightful paper. You have made my job more difficult now. I am conscious of how far the time has gone, but many of the things that you have raised are things that cannot just be left to go uninterrogated, unappreciated, and undigested. There are so many perspectives that you have brought to the issues of funding, partnership, initiative, support for one of Nigeria's greatest sources of diplomacy, one of Nigeria's greatest sources of foreign exchange earning, which is the Nigerian film industry. I have with me a body of discussants, many of them practitioners in their own way, and would like to make interventions in the light of what you had presented. I had initially indicated I will give 3 minutes each. I will have to stand by that. Haven't actually appreciated the fact that our panel is very gender imbalanced. I would have really loved a situation where we balance the discussants in 50-50 gender balance. But all the same, let me start by taking the first intervention from Mr. Fidelis Luka. You have 3 minutes, sir, to make your intervention. After which, Mr. Madu Chikwandu will take the podium. And in the same manner, I will call on Madam Apolline Torare to make her interventions. This will be the first set of interventions we will take. Honorable Minister, Madam, thank you very much for your very incisive, thought-provoking presentation. We appreciate you. I think you can make your interventions from where you are seated. Thank you. Can you please help us with the mic on the podium?
Mic is on. It's on. Oh, okay. Awesome.
Please go ahead.
Thank you. A very good afternoon, and the Honorable Minister of State, standing on L existing protocol. Your paper was very incisive. Beyond your paper, you have an in-depth knowledge of the Nigerian film industry, and I must say I'm very impressed with some of the interventions you made. When we talk about the funding mechanisms, and I'm happy that in your paper you mentioned a couple of interventions that has happened in the Nigerian movie industry. You mentioned the Goodluck Jonathan intervention in 2014, which also led to capacity building, building capacity for filmmakers, and then of course funding some projects. But I think the challenge we've had over the years, and which I am happy was in your paper, is that sustainability has been a major concern. Most of these initiatives are never sustained. They come on at a point in time and do not continue. But we must also commend the Nigerian Film Corporation for this initiative of getting the FCT administration involved. And then, of course, it goes beyond just the FCT. I keep saying that. I said that yesterday at one of the sessions, that even the state governments have a role to play. It's an holistic environment where if you want to build a mutually organic system, the ecosystem works just not only with sectoral agencies, even the government, the state governments have a role to play, but to the local government level. And somebody made an intervention yesterday and asked a question which was very key. I think beyond funding, this funding should also trickle down to infrastructure. And I will tell you why. There's no football club, maybe anywhere in the world. I feel that maybe in England where they have their own stadium. But in Nigeria today, most of the football the stadiums are owned by government to a large extent. So if government can invest, and even airports too, even airline operators do not have their own airlines, but the structures there are by government and used by the operators. So what I'm saying in essence is this, that as we talk about funding mechanism, one of the things I tell people that Nollywood can access funds, but their basic infrastructure and their basic policy frameworks that will enhance the development of this industry. In the area of policy, and I'm happy you mentioned that there are tax rebates that if hotels know that you come and shoot in Abuja, a film, the hotels in Abuja, through a partnership with the government, knows that for film shooting, there's a 50% or 30% rebate for using the hotel. It's there as a policy. Then for infrastructure, I expect that more viewing centers, like the FCT can consider the idea of having a government-owned cinema structure, but manage a PPP arrangement with industry people, and then have an arrangement where these centers are there. It will also aid employment, the number of people that will be employed there, beyond just coming to screen films there. I think I will just stop there so that we can allow the other speakers speak. We're about 8 here, and then, of course, end the session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fidelis, for this exemplary discipline of operating within the time allotted. May I call on Mr. Madu Chikwandu, please, to make his intervention.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for giving me the floor. When I came to this place, I was preparing to listen to an urban planner and a politician and the government official. I ended up listening to everything from a scholar, film scholar, to a film expert, to film producer, to film analyst, to film fan. Thank you, madam. I would like to appeal to Zuma Film Festival to ensure that copies, my time might not start a chairman, copies of our paper are available. Because even the professor and a lot of us would like to be able to study the paper, and then our colleagues have also made requests. It's a very well-researched paper. Having said that, every aspect of human or economic activity is normally in phases. When we started, we are pioneers of Nollywood. The initial thing was to try to attract the attention of government, which we succeeded in doing. And then now, the next challenge was to improve the quality of production, which has also happened. We are now at the stage of consolidation. If you look at the digital age and the various forms of distribution, the major challenge is a lack of consolidation. So when we talk about the post-COVID era now, how do we begin to consolidate? And there's a temptation usually to look at film from the point of view of production. However, the production of a film is just the beginning of, in fact, you're just unleashing a dam. It's just when you're beginning to enter an ecosystem that stretches from pre-production to marketing to distribution, and the party really never ends, because once a film has been made, except you destroy it, it can continue to make money. How then do we take advantage of this situation? How do we create this infrastructure? Like my colleague has said, you need to put structures in place. Everything that has been said requires coordination. If I'm a film producer and I come to FCT, where do I go to? I do not need to see Madam Minister, even though I know she's very sympathetic. There has to be some kind of coordinating office, perhaps a film office for starters. Because when we talk about Nigeria as a federation, Nigerians keep talking about fiscal federalism, but this federalism operates at various levels. The level of the federal government, the state, the municipal government. In this instance, we can see the FCT as a state. So who do we relate to when we come here? We need to create that environment for coordination that will coordinate all these activities and say to me, we'll arrange to get you clearances with the police, where places where you need to record, secure locations, secure rebates that are available. Because if not, you might come here, perhaps you have a very limited budget, and you'll be flying to Abuja from Lagos for 2-3 months, you exhaust your budget. These things, Madam needs to create an office. And luckily, a lot of my colleagues, these are experts, international experts. We can place our expertise at your disposal to develop these institutions and structures. Also, here in Abuja, I've been privileged to listen to the previous minister, and they talked about an entertainment hub that's supposed to have been, that is in the Abuja master plan. And we are invited to some meetings, but I don't know exactly where we are at this point in time. We need to activate that hub, an entertainment district, like you see in many international cities around the world. So that if people come, it's a place of entertainment. Ideally, all our guilds and associations should have their headquarters here in Abuja, which is the federal capital, because the guild is not just existing for production, it is the business of the producer to produce films. Your union should protect your interests by lobbying government for favorable policies and a lot of other things. Will the FCT assist us by providing that infrastructure? Right here in this place today, through the instrumentality of the Nigerian Film Corporation, we are going to be launching by 2 p.m. in the Nigerian Film Festivals Association. We will also require a secretariat from where we will coordinate our activities all over the country. And also now, you look at cinemas. Do you know that in less than 2 years, the film industry gave the federal and Lagos state government over 1 billion naira just from cinemas alone? Is there an incentive to encourage us to come and build more cinemas around the FCT? Mind you, that film is not just for relaxation. It's not just for entertainment. I am happy that the DG of NOA is here. And at this particular point in time in our history as a nation, I consider the NOA one of the most important agencies of government in this country. Why? Because this nation is in need of reorientation. What are the structures that we put in place for all these things? Our films will be used to rearrange the routes and, in a sense, begin to tackle these insecurity problems in the country. And not just to reduce the 51% unemployment rate in the country. Everybody has a role to play in the regeneration of the country. But more importantly, those of us that control the audiovisual industry, which will influence you not just physically but mentally, that is the biggest damage. This is the biggest damage that has been done to Africa. There's always so much to say in this our business. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Mr. Maru Chukwendo. And of course, these are some of the issues that the Honorable Minister had highlighted in the course of the presentation. Like, for example, the revival and rehabilitation of the Abuja Film Village. This is one of the efforts, aimed at trying to create a centrally coordinated framework and a platform actually for making the entire process seamless and easy. May I call on... No, well, let's say I finish, then you can respond so that we wrap up completely. May I call on Madam Afolen Torare, please, to make your intervention. Madam, you are welcome.
Good morning. As I was introduced as a Burkinabe filmmaker, I will not dare to talk about how to get the Nigerian filmmaking better, because you guys are much more ahead of us in terms of quantity. But in terms of quality, we can discuss that. I am really honored to be here today with the Honorary Minister, who has been standing with us all this time. In my country, it's very rare to have a minister sit with filmmakers and talk about film for hours. So thank you for that. We have been talking since we started about co-production. And as a Burkinabe, I would like to a little bit emphasize on that. And how to actually make our cities a place to shoot film for the world. I know that, for example, in Burkina, we have some policies that will bring foreigners to come to the country and shoot films. And I think that our discussion today is how do us foreigners can come to either Abuja or Lagos or any places in Nigeria to make films. What is the country giving us or facilitating us to actually come and make films here? I remember a couple of years ago, I did make a film. It was actually a border film that we went from Senegal all the way to Nigeria. And when we got to Nigeria, it was kind of difficult with all the procedures that we had to go through to be able to make the films here. So our goal here with the Zuma Film Festival is really to find out how we can facilitate foreigners to actually use this city, this great city, and all the other great cities to make film. As a filmmaker, our duty is not only to make film into just our countries. I think our duty is to make film about the continent. And we should be able to go anywhere in the world. I should start with Africa, to make films and then to talk about our content and to share what content that we have. We did talk a lot about all the investment that needs to be made in the cities and in the country so the film industry can evolve. Of course, as I said earlier, this involvement is already done with the quantity of film that Nigeria can make. Although we in Burkina Faso, we do have a government fund that actually help filmmakers to fund their films, which is here, you don't have much that, but you guys are producing much more than we do, and which is an incredible thing. That means that filmmaker will fight and do make their film on their own. And then I think that the government here, Honorary Ministry that is in front of you, you guys should not let her go until some kind of fund we are here to actually help the filmmaker to make better film that we have. We do have a fund in Burkina, but we can spend 2-3 years to make a film. That is why the quantity of film that we have are not high. And then the way that we do production, a production of a film can take a year, just one film. And then we do not even, we don't have yet the tools to know how here you guys are able to make a film in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. We are not able to do that. We don't even know how to. and I think those are all the things that this collaboration is very important with us, with the Francophone countries, to actually get each other the tools. How we do get money from outside, how do we get money from either the European funds or the international funds, and how the Nigerian films are being made in Nigeria for sometimes a very low cost and actually comes out with great films. So I think my 3 minutes have done, and I really thank you for having me here today.
Thank you very much, Madam Toraore. May I now call on Dr. Victor Okai to please make his intervention. But I think there are some challenges that have been thrown to us in the Nigerian film industry from Madam in terms of the quality, the conversation around the content and the quality. So let's see how we respond to that. Dr. Victor Okai, over to you, please.
Thank you very much, sir. I'd like to start by making a confession. When I was coming up here and the Honorable Minister was, coming to make her presentation, I was rather skeptical. I have heard a lot of government people talk, but this is quite different. And the reason is simple. I saw sincerity because I saw a minister who was able to admit weakness for once on the part of government and was able to also, point out all the opportunities that exist. And not only that, has also demonstrated a willingness to work with the industry to make this happen. Please put your hands, do that. Before I get into what I want to say, and I think I'm in a position to do that. I heard them saying Sarauniya when she was coming. I think we can also add Jakadi and Nollywood. And I'm not joking, I'll translate that. Madam, it is official. The ambassador for Nollywood. If the House is in agreement, put your hands together. So, Madam, you can add Jakadian Nollywood or Ambassador of Nollywood. I say so in my position as the President of the Directors Guild of Nigeria. You have earned it. And we are truly proud of what you have been able to do. So, I don't want to take too much time. But I think that she has said so much, I was actually worried that by the time it gets to me, there will be nothing to say. That's how good the paper is. But I want to add this very quickly, Madam. In addition to everything you have said, some of the problems that we have that we need to be able to facilitate film production, particularly in Nigeria, and Madam Traore has alluded to that, even if not very directly. Security is very important for any filmmaker. I know that production used to be, thrive in certain cities in Nigeria, but people moved from there to other places because of issues like security. Hospitality, the hospitality industry also is very, very important. We need to be able to work together. Let me give an example here. Movement from Enugu to Asaba was because Enugu was becoming too expensive. Enugu was a hub, for filmmaking outside Lagos. And then there was a movement to Asaba. And today the number of jobs that are being created in Asaba, hotels that have sprung up there, so many filmmakers have relocated there, and more than half of, not Kanu is different, but I mean the rest of the English movies that are made in this country today are produced in Asaba, and it's because of hospitality. Immigrations is very important if we want foreigners to come into this country. We need to work with our immigrations as well. If you make things difficult and harass filmmakers and treat the camera like a gun because we say we shoot, then I think it's we're not helping matters. Customs as well. We need to work closely with customs. We need in bringing in equipment. We know that when filmmakers bring equipment, they're not leaving it here. They're taking it back. Don't make life difficult for foreign filmmakers or local filmmakers that are coming in with equipment, and also let the duties be like next to nothing. Because I was speaking on a television program on NTA yesterday, and I said government should be paying us for doing government business. And as Madam has alluded, the publicity that Nollywood gives, to Nigeria, the government cannot really pay for it. So no amount of money that government gives to us will really be enough. We've talked about tax rebates, and then on the issue of film funds, I'd like to suggest something here, and this is done in other countries. Telcos, also show movies and all that. They've benefited more from Nollywood than many other, because every time we consume content, through YouTube and all that, the telcos are the ones, MTN and the rest, they benefit the most from it, from data. I think that between 1% to 5%, I'm recommending that they should set aside a film fund, of about 1% to 5% that can be used as a revolving film fund for the industry. If you agree, please put your hands together. It is the era of African Continental Free Trade Agreement, and this is the best time to take advantage of it. Dr. Garba, please just tell me, I'm just about running up. I know my time is always due. I'm sorry. We should do whatever we can do to open up and let people come in and let us see how we can benefit. And to Madam Traore, I would like to say, teach us how to access those monies from EU, and we'll teach you how to shoot a film in 2 weeks. I don't want to take too much time, but thank you very much. I know that the conversation will continue. And Madam, before I forget, the Honorable Minister, Jakadia Nollywood, will be happy if the FCT can give us land to put for the guilds to be able to get offices, build our headquarters at the federal capital, so that I'll be very close to you, and then the business can continue. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Okai. May I now call on Professor Moshoba Daniel.
Yes, thank you very much. The chairman and other protocol observers. I listened keenly to the Honorable Minister of State, and she has actually encapsulated a lot of things about funding and so on. But what I want to emphasize more on the infrastructural problem, especially in the Federal Capital Territory, for making film. You see, there was this, from 1999 till now, there's this wide land given to Abuja Film Village, the Abuja Film Village at Kuje. The land is so big that it has been there for a long time. Nothing has been done there. And I'm very glad that the minister, the partnership with the Nigerian Film Corporation, which was established by 1979, and the Nigerian Film Corporation have really come out with a lot of things, this kind of partnership. So I was thinking that apart from the Abuja Film Village, most of the geopolitical zone of Nigeria, states should establish film villages. Film villages are very important. You have studio facilities, you have conference centers, you have so many things. We have roads. In fact, they can start by establishing roads in those land that are, because we can have foreigners, government, private donors that can help in developing those infrastructure. You see, when somebody is coming from outside Nigeria to shoot film in Nigeria, the first place they may come to is Abuja. And when you get to that, when you have a film village, that land is so big that if it is properly utilized, if the roads are made, some buildings, people can go there and build. A lot of things can happen. Because I don't have enough time, but what I said here was that this thing should be established in different places. Tinapa was there, but Tinapa has gone down. We are no more hearing about Tinapa because it was the state government then that established the Tinapa. You say government itself is a continuum. If government is a continuum, like this particular government now, they are trying to do something. But I will show that the next government will be able to do something better. So we should learn that since government is a continuum, some of these things can be done. And I'm very happy that a lot of money has been spent by the federal government to make sure that Nigerian filmmakers have access to a lot of loan facilities. It's not just the loan facilities, but we're talking about infrastructure. And infrastructure, individual filmmakers cannot establish them. When talking about using hotels, yes, but what about a village, a big village, where we have a lot of studios, with a lot of facilities, editing facilities that can be put in those industries, in the villages, roads, infrastructure. We can even use some of the roads for your film. So it's a very important aspect of film making. And I believe that we can partner with a lot of government, like this African Development Fund now. They should be able to help us in that Abuja Film Village so that we'll be able to do something very, very important when it comes to the development of the film industry, especially the quality of the film industry. The quality is important too. That's why today America is doing very well. When we have Hollywood. Hollywood have a lot of film villages. America has a lot of film villages. We have one in Abuja, but it's just a bare land, a forest land that has not been since 1999. So I believe that this government, the present government, I believe they will have something to do. I discussed with the managing director of the Nigerian Film Corporation on this matter. It's touching me seriously. And what he told me is that something is being done by the Federal Capital Authority. And I pray that God will intervene too, so that the next government, if this one, because I know that there will soon be change of government, I will believe that since government is a continuum, then they should invest in it, and they should also bring private people who are also enjoying from the Nigerian economy, like MTN, like multi-choice. They are enjoying from our economy. They should also be brought in. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. May I call on Francis Duru, please, for your intervention.
Your Excellency, the Jakadi of Nollywood, the Honorable Minister of State, I speak first and foremost as a Nollywood creative native and as a Team Ramatu member, newly invested this morning. I'm not surprised. You are a thoroughbred creative native right from time we knew you, and you walk your talk. So hearing you say all this here, it's not new, because I know that it's not just something you're saying for saying sake. I'm also aware when this whole thing started from little talks, and I knew how much you have put in. God bless you so much. And we pray that it continues. Like the thoroughbred erudite nature that colleagues I have here, they've said it all, sustainability is key. It's very, very key. But again, I want to take it to another level. You know, when you talk about film, you also talk about the brother, which is theater. And I believe Abuja, the world comes to Abuja every day. And I beg you, in the course of this, let us look for somewhere to actually put in theater, because theater culture is almost gone in Abuja. And whether you like it or not, you cannot be talking about film and not looking at that aspect too. Then, I live in Abuja for almost 22 years, and while you say all of these things, you know, charity begins at home. We must work hard to establish the creative industry, especially capacity building for actors, producers who are living here in Abuja. Because what really happens is that Lagos comes and at the end of the day leaves crumbs for those in here. They need to actually build capacity for actors in Abuja, becomes absolutely necessary. I also want to stretch it further to the point where we begin to see the FCT2 as actually the beginning point of all of these things. You know, The film industry is not just for entertainment too. We have strategic communication tools or paradigm shift in looking at the sustainable communication, sustainable development goals here. To what extent can we actually use Abuja to actually get some of these grants and all that stuff, and at the end of the day, the goose that lays the golden eggs, like the FCT, also benefits, from it. We also want to beg that the need for that strong liaison office for this project remains in Abuja, away from the bottlenecks that the industry does not need. Is it possible that we make it so easy for that accessibility where there's an office that does not need so much of the bottleneck nature that we have sometimes if you go to some of these places, to make it easier? And the last one I want to say, help us. Abuja has a history. The Gbagi people, the Gbagi culture, the Zuma, and all these actual tourist attractions, for us to actually animate it in films and every documentary packages, so that when people talk about Abuja, you punch in the button, you can see how the Gbagi people live, the cultures of the people before Abuja started as a whole, and expand the frontiers of tourism in Abuja, so that even you actually coming up with this particular project will benefit. It's a way person they work, now they chop. That's why they call it workshop. So you are working, you have brought this out, it's time for you to eat. So FCT should benefit first and foremost from this. And Your Excellency, I will beg you, because right now from what you said now, you see everybody will be coming to Abuja. I'll beg you to be the ambassador who will be stamping the passports of those who are coming to Abuja to control it, so that our own no go lost. So for those of us in Abuja, our own no go lost, we remain yours. Use us effectively like a new razor blade. Use us well, so that Abuja becomes the flagship, and other states, when they look at Abuja, they see Abuja as a reference point of great cinematic experience that will project this nation to where it's supposed to be. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Francis Duru. Finally, I would want to call on Mr. Samuel Atang to make his intervention. Ladies and gentlemen, the time is far gone. Time for Juma prayer. In fact, in many mosques, they have already concluded the prayer. Some of us will have to close and catch up with those who pray late. I would want to crave your indulgence. I initially have said that I will conclude the session in 1 hour 15 minutes. I had extended it to 1 hour 30 minutes now. So I will now call on the last person to make his intervention, after which I will give the Honorable Minister 2 minutes to make her responses, and we'll close. I do hope you do understand what our situation.
Your Excellency, my Honorable Minister of State, the chairman of this very important forum, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I have listened to the very thought-provoking lecture by my Honorable Minister. Like every other discussant, I was taken aback because I never expected her to be so versatile in discussing issues pertaining to the film industry. But I'm not so surprised about her level of erudition in terms of the analysis she has given. I've worked with her. I know her pedigree. I know her posture. But, Mr. Chairman, some issues have been raised pertaining to Abuja providing the enabling environment to become the film hub of the Nigerian nation. Like Prof said, a very wide expanse of land has been allocated, not just allocated, it was part of the initial master plan of the Federal Capital Territory. And that underscores the importance this nation has placed on the film industry by creating a wide expanse of land that traverses Kusaki, Yanga, up to Kuje area councils dedicated for film making as the Abuja Film Village. This administration has come in to turn things around for the Abuja Film Village. We are talking about issues of sustainability. Prof expressed some fears of what will happen after the exit of this administration. But one thing is very key. This administration recognized the need of the film industry to operate as a quasi-private business environment, and therefore relocated it from government bureaucracy to the Abuja Investment Company Limited, the parent body, to operate as a private entity without so much of bureaucratic bottlenecks. So Abuja Film Village going forward is going to be repositioned very soon by this administration. I believe my minister will give details in her recap. Is going to operate as a private entity devoid of any bureaucratic encumbrances, and will liaise very strongly with the film industry without so much of government intervention. All we need to find today is that we expect the Abuja Film Village to spring up and then live to its own, to the expectation of the Federal Capital Territory. Besides that, the Federal Capital Territory has an expanse of a territory. The 8,000 square kilometers is a destination that has been created by God for filmmaking. If you look at the hills, Abuja as a territory is surrounded by beautiful hills, all through from Zuma down to Abaji, down to Rubochi, back to Kareshi. Everywhere is encamped and surrounded by beautiful hills. The landscape is traversed by beautiful rivers, and honestly, where we have designated as the Abuja Film Village was deliberately placed because the valleys and other natural habitats are equivalent of what you find in Disneyland and other film environments across the world. So Abuja is prepared to take the position of leadership in filmmaking. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tank. May I call on the Honorable Minister, Madam? I will politely allow you 2 minutes to respond to the most critical observations that have been made, and then call it a day henceforth. Thank you.
Hello? Okay. Well, thank you very much for the opportunity to respond to a few questions or some of the issues I find very relevant to also shed more light on. The Abuja Film Village, as a permanent secretary further reiterated, was just not allocated. Abuja happens to be one of the well-designed cities, if not in the African continent, but across the world. A 21st century city with every place for every duty and function. So, not only is it large, the topography encourages such. But this administration will go much, much further to ensure that it is upgraded and it is made to stand the test of time and serve the purpose with which it is meant for. A function and priority of administration differs from administration to administration. And I'm happy you were able to identify that from 1999, well, lip service could have been paid to that. Oh, in as much as it was documented and it was meant to be so, priority was not laid or emphasis was not made on it. By extension, the Abuja Film Village wouldn't have been or was not prioritized by subsequent administrations. But hence the discussion today and the reason for the MOU. And we're not only moving to ensure that it serves the purpose, we are also putting our foot down to ensure that we reduce the effect or the interference of the bureaucracy with the function of the Abuja Film Village. By extension, it will enjoy a kind of autonomy of its own. And that film village, I want to tell you that my enthusiasm in it is second to none, that it will be resounding and it will be self-sustaining. As for security, yes, that is the function of government. We will ensure that it is secured as usual. We are not talking of the other borders that could have been, encroached. Every nation has its own peculiarity and challenges. The challenges of security is not peculiar to Nigeria alone. It is global today. But then we are rising up to this occasion, and I want to assure you that the Federal Capital Territory is secured. It is secured for you to use. And I also want to reiterate that should you want to shoot any movie that requires you going down to the suburbs, if you go through the film village and the management, after every I's and D's are crossed of detail, you'll be so protected and given the security protection as available. Abuja does enjoy a combination of special security squad because it doubles as the seat of the federal government. The special security squad includes, but not limited to, the Navy, the Army, the Civil Defense, the police, and so on, even the constabularies, and the DSS. These all could also be deployed to secure a territory if you are not too comfortable. That is, in the suburbs, not only giving you the incentives. But I have to also put it clear to you that that is why the Kusaki-Yanga district was made. Going into it, this will further, be strengthened and equipped, because if you strengthen institutions to outlive personalities, then the function will be everlasting, or will last much longer than the actor in the office. We are only temporary because power is transient. But if the film village today is made what is supposed to be, or to serve the purpose it's originally meant for, and the Kusaki-Yanga all secured for this purpose, I think beyond this administration, the filmmakers, not only even the filmmakers, the entire citizen will begin to enjoy an evolution of the movie industry. By extension, the economy, because the quality of the production, the quantity of the production, and the cost of the production will be reduced to the barest minimum with quality scenes. These we are also looking into, and definitely I want to tell you that the Kusaki-Yanga will not even be second to the theme park in Los Angeles. That is what it's meant to be. Where you're thinking, Caps, come up with beautiful designs. Let's collaborate with FCT administration. Let's identify meaningful Nigerians who are willing to invest, that might not particularly believe in you, but in the function of the government, by power vested upon the state, to say we are in this together. They will invest to help us build a film dream and a film village of our own dreams. This we are also looking up to you to do. I'm looking up to a crop of producers that I want to go back. You see, I took you back to the basics to say we must remember. I took us down to the days. I don't want to go back to Tales by Moonlight. It might not look as scientific
with all motions like today, but it touched the fabric of our existence. Many parents will like to sponsor movies, music, creations that will touch attitudinal change, the perception of our youths, the attitude towards governance, good governance, and attitude towards government property, our relationships with each other vis-a-vis peaceful coexistence. I'm giving you a direction of what you can do that will market, that will make meaning, that will attract investors. An investor might not want to fund a music when you just pick your gun like the James Bond and you want to run from one corner to the other. It might be Western, yes, but what is the impact on our youths? And then this, I know I'm being warned for the 2 minutes, so that will be a discussion for another day, but I would like to engage you so that we go in the positive direction. As the Jakadia has bestowed upon me, I would like us to be guided. Lastly, I would also like to tell you the ease of doing business of Mr. President under this administration, that is of the federal government by extension, is being applied in the Federal Capital Territory. We will make it as friendly as possible. And for those who have been bold, I must commend the actors, actresses, people in the music industry and the movie industry and the creative industry that I make bold to say that I've reached out to the office and the FCTA administration that they found it easy and my doors are wide open. We also have the Directorate of the Reform Coordination and Service Improvement that will also openly tell you what you are welcome to interface with the administration to do. There is no difficulty provided it's within the time frame of visit. Don't insist on seeing me personally. But honestly speaking, it could pose a challenge. But if you send in a document, I want to assure you, it will be responded to within a week. And this, I want to assure you. Now again, I told you clearly that every nation has its own challenges. Security challenges is not peculiar to Nigeria alone, especially in the present-day dispensation. But I would like clearly also to tell Mr. Okai, Dr. Okai, that thank God we are all Nigerians and Nigerian citizens, that we needn't be paid when we embark on the act of nation building. No one can pay for that. But that action alone secures the future for the present Nigerian, which includes your children and mine. So in the act of nation building, in the act of redirecting our movie industries, our movies, our musics, to sing the song either of unity, of decency, of the revival of our value system, I look at it like self-reorientation and self-building. This strengthens the fabric of Nigeria's existence and by extension, the character of our children and their conduct, and by extension, the crop of leaders we groom. This will in turn give us the leadership quality we require. Nation building is not a day's journey. We might go on and on, but lastly, I would like to tell you, these documents are available, will be made available on e-copies for you to get, or you may also send in your email addresses, it will be sent to you, because we want you to hold it word for word. We are signing an MOU so that we strengthen the institution by having an understanding so it outlives the stay in office, for power is transcendent. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Thank you very much, the Honorable Minister of State.
Dr. Abari, I wanted to respond clearly to my beautiful sister here, Madam Traore. The Nigerian movie industry does not only produce quantity music or movies. I want to assure you, if you talk in that context, where a production could take like 3-4 months or years in some other climes, and the quality they talk about, if one thing you will not take away from Nigerians, definitely is their gift and talent. So the first they grasp their ability to reproduce for every action or every production or every, physical preparation we put into, a movie is only but a figment of already an imagination in our heads. So when Nigerians act the music or act their movie, they act their talk, so they're able to produce and reproduce. And I want to beat my chest clear to say it is one, movie industry to beat today worldwide, but I'll give it to the Hollywood and say it's second to the Hollywood, but not even the Bollywood will challenge us today. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Madam
Thank you very much. Let me thank sincerely the panelists for keeping to the time and for also your very incisive interventions. Thank you once again, Honorable Minister. I will now bring the session to a close and hand over to the Master of Ceremony. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Please, let's put our hands together again for the minister and the panelists. I have somebody that used to tell me when we have occasions like this, and he says that if you do not leave your hands at home, then you put them together for the minister and the guests. Thank you very much. I crave your indulgence, Madam Minister, that while you were speaking, the representative and a filmmaker from Israel joined us. She's Royal Man. She's there. Thank you for coming all the way from Israel. Then a quick announcement. We are going to have a 30 minutes break, and once we return, we will be at the workshop session on film distribution here in the hall to be delivered by the ES of the Lagos Film and Video Censors Board. And quickly, we were, Honorable Minister, we were really thrilled when we received your CV, and on behalf of the Nigerian Film Corporation and the Hall of Movie Award, ROC, I crave your indulgence to announce to the world that by tomorrow this time, we'll be getting ready to award you the Lifetime Achievement Award for Nollywood. So we are looking forward to seeing you tomorrow to receive the award in person. Thank you very much. And can we have the national anthem, please? The national pledge. Okay, 1, 2, we go. I pledge to Nigeria, my country, loyal and honest, all my strength, my unity, honor, and glory. Thank you very much. 30 minutes break, and we'll be back for the next session. Thank you very much.
since 2009. He has not gotten back. Now that you are providing this, I've told them that we need their assistance for this Abuja Film Village. And they are willing, yes, and they are willing to assist us to build it to that scale.